What's up, everyone? This is Eli Knight, and I'm going to do a commentary for you guys. So, this is a game that I played on Trade Cards Online, and it was a game that made me, very happy because I did pretty well in it. And this was one of those matches that at one point I definitely thought I was going to lose. At the beginning, it seemed pretty lopsided in my opponent's favor, and I turned things around. So the deck I'm playing is one of my favorites, Garmore Bunnies. So yeah, my opening hand, I don't have any grade zeros. It looks all right. Having the 10k shields in hand to start with is actually pretty nice, and I don't. But 3 boosters, can't do much better than that. I actually let my opponent mulligan multiple times because he said he was grade stuck. He actually kept 2 grade 1s in hand, including a perfect guard, which is a little questionable, but whatever. So he goes first. He's playing a Oracle Think Tank archetype. Oracle Think Tank archetype called Maguses, and they weren't really cards I was familiar with, but I know a little bit more about them thanks to this fight. Basically, what he wrote is a 10k attacker, grade 1. And he no guards the Vanguard, as he should. And so I still don't have any 10k shields, which is not a good thing. So he fields Silent Tom, and that's a problem. The grade 1 he just called lets him check the top card, which, unbeknownst to me, is a critical trigger. Ordinarily here I'd guard for 10, but seeing as I don't have a 10k shield, I just take it. So the draw trigger is pretty nice. And I lose a Pelennor. Tom attacks, and I don't bother wasting cards. So I go ahead and ride Bowman. I could just as easily ride Lopier here, but I don't. I could have also called another Lopier. I'm not really sure why I didn't, actually. So I attack Silent Tom. And I actually attack Silent Tom again. Now, attacking a rear guard with your Vanguard is almost never a good idea. So things look pretty bad for me. 3 damage to 1, and I've got no 10k shields in hand still. Now, unfortunately, that's a no image grade 3, but I'll tell you what it is. It's called Pentagonal Magus. It's a 11k limit break ability, where he basically you basically call what the top card will be, and if you're right, that top card becomes a critical trigger. Again, I would guard if I had 10k shield, but I don't. In this case, I do, because I'm about to ride Garmore anyway. So drawing the draw trigger does not help, and if you're reading the comments on the side, I say this is going pretty bad. It was basically his last turn. Basically seemed like critical trigger, I pretty much lose my whole hand. So I go for Lopbeer, ditch the Gwydion, and check the top 3. Actually kind of cheated a little bit. I was supposed to shuffle my library after getting Lopbeer, but that was just an accident caused by playing online. I meant to take no advantage. And I mean, I did let my opponent keep mulliganing until they got all their grades, so yeah. So I hit the rear guard again because I feel pretty defenseless until now. Heal trigger comes to save my life. And you can see that Pelennor got really fat for some reason. And Halo Shield is a pretty welcome sight. I go ahead and go for Spring Breeze's effect because I am up against an 11k Vanguard and the column is definitely not ideal. Lucky for me, I get a Dindrain. And just like that, I get another 10k shield. Which does mean I could have healed, but I'm not too worried about that. So now the damage is even, my hand size is bigger, and things are looking up. So that's a special booster. It's not like a special booster for Pentagonal Magus, but it's another one where you basically call the top card, and I think it becomes a 9k booster, either that or a 10k booster. I believe it's a 9k booster because I don't think it's Vanguard specific. And it's pretty funny here, he calls the top card as Lozenge Magus, and I'm sure he wishes it is, but nope. 2 draw triggers, you gotta settle for that. Pretty lucky. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't snag any 10k shields. And if you're reading the sidebar, I tell him here that draw triggers are broken. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with draw triggers because I kind of feel like if you're running 4 and your opponent's running 4, someone's going to trigger them and gain massive advantage for pretty much no reason. Because unless you trigger it, it's a 5k shield, which sucks. So I swapped the Dindrain for Charge Gall, ready to go all in. 21k to Vanguard. And just look at that shielding hand. Another heal trigger. So yeah, I didn't mention I got pretty lucky in this game, but I think you have to get sort of lucky to turn it around in the position I was in. So I go ahead and swing at the rear guard because his Vanguard has a trigger on him. And because he has no 10k shields, he takes this hit. Which is sort of unnecessary. He didn't have to do that, but it's his decision. He is holding on to a no image card, so I'm going to hover over that and see what it is. It's another Pentagonal Magus, and he just drew a Hexagonal Magus. Hexagonal Magus, I believe, is is a break ride. Pentagonal Magus is the vanguard he has already. So this is a pretty crazy play, pretty impressive. He checks the top card. It's a Silent Tom. And then he calls this card called Briolet Magus. Gets a Silent Tom into his hand and puts Briolet Magus on the top. So not only does he get Silent Tom, he knows what the top card is, which is going to help power up his vanguard. And of course, he has symmetrical columns. I gotta admit, the two Silent Toms staring down at you with their guns pointed is pretty cool. So if you can read the sidebar, I'm really confused at this point as to his vanguard skill, which I understand a lot better now. I'm kind of asking him, when do I guard, because it looks like he's trigger checking me. But I guess I get the opportunity to guard right here. So I have to use the grade zeros because the Silent Toms. And luckily, the top card isn't a crit, so with a maximum of one critical trigger attainable, I can basically perfect guard a Tom if he gets the crit and let the other hit. So I'm pretty safe. The reason I hesitated to intercept with Lop-Ear is because of the Vanguard booster. That skill was also kind of confusing to me, and once I figured it out, I intercepted for a no pass. He got no triggers, so I take one hit in the hopes that I can get a trigger and block the other with 5k, but I don't. So my damage zone, if you look, is pretty full of attackers. Kind of interesting. So even more shields. So I love keeping Garmores in hand because it pretty much means you can do anything you want. Ideally I'd go for the Nemean Lion, but for some reason I didn't put that in this deck. So I go for Vivian. I don't really feel like I need the Bowman or the Lop-Ear, and I figure, okay, at least Vivian, if I happen to like lose my field, can maybe help me plus. He said during this fight that he didn't run shock a lot, so I thought he had no perfect guards, but I should have known there was an archetypal perfect guard. So my 26,000 power attack is for naught. Well, except for the twin drive. And I get 2 triggers. And he's got no 10k shields. And he's got no perfect guards. So in the comments he says BS, which it kind of is. And I attack the Vanguard because he's at 5 damage, and it means he has to guard. So he pretty much has to lose everything. So no more Silent Toms to worry about. So as you can see, I'd have to get sacked pretty hard to lose now. So I don't really care what he's going to do, I'm just going to perfect guard it. And you see me kind of taking it back because it's confusing to guard that thing. Gwydion, I'm sorry for always, pitching you instead of actually using you. So he gets a critical trigger, but I really don't care. It doesn't matter. He actually had a grade 3 in hand he could have called, and it actually looks like it was a good play for him to keep it in hand. Because he got the perfect guard. But I actually get Pelennor. And if you know Pellennor's skill, you know that he can give power to multiple columns. So I go ahead and go for Pelennor because he pretty much guarantees me the game. The last damage is Gemini, and I win. So guys, I really hope that you liked the match. I had a blast playing it, and yeah, it was just one of those matches where you feel, really proud to win. For some reason, this little card game you can be so proud of. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.